Jacob Kufuor is spelled wrongly. Kufuor is supposed to be Kufuor for the former President Kufuor. But here, we spelled it Kufour.
Yes, table office, the U comes before the O. Thank you. Page 14. Yes, any...
Right Honourable Speaker, please, at page 13, I was trying to catch your attention. The presidents of a number of countries have been repeated, and would want to draw the attention of the table office. They are quite, I've heard one being mentioned, but they are more than that. There are about 3 of them. So that if the table office can take notes, that will also affect the numbering. The numbering will change. And then, Mr. Speaker, we need your guidance. There are a number of them who went up to congratulate the president with their spouses. That has not been captured here. I don't know if you want us to leave out their spouses. Mr. Speaker, that is for your guidance. And then, Mr. Speaker, if I'm to come to page 14, since you mentioned page 14, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, the second entry, foreign, has been captured wrongly. It's been misspelled. The N at the end of foreign is not there. And then, Mr. Speaker, the former president of Germany, a category was created at page 13 for former presidents. I thought that is the proper placement. So if the table office can look at that, I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, I thought we solved this. I said I was going to submit the list to the table office to capture it as it was presented to me. Because I went sequentially according to what I was given. As to the number of people that broke protocol and came up to congratulate His Excellency, they were so numerous that we cannot capture all of them. I mean, I mentioned names, people came with delegations, and we didn't want to cause any scene, so we allowed them. If not, you have seen some struggles around there, everybody trying to come with even their children to congratulate His Excellency the President. So please, we'll do the proper thing by submitting that list to the table office to be captured. May we proceed? Yes, please.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Page 14, XLI, iterating from the senior member, Honorable Kujoto Abrakwa. In as much as the foreign is spelled wrongly, the main concern is that His Excellency Diego Martinez Bellew is actually the State Secretary for Foreign Affairs and Global Affairs, and not Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs.
We will cross-check from the list that was submitted.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, page 14.
Mr. Speaker, on page 14, 35, I've realized that the name moved by Honorable Majority Leader and member for Ajumako, I seek your guidance. I thought it should be member of Parliament for Ajumako Eyen Ishiam. So I need your guidance on that. Thank you.
Yes, table office. The member insists you should complete it. Member of Parliament for Ajumako. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Page 14, our Majority Speaker, Dr. Castel Atoban Forsen. The doctor is omitted. And also, my able minority leader, has also indicated to us that it's not Mr. Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Markins, but he will be preferred to be called Osanyene Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Markins. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Markins.
Honorable members, we had forms given to all of you to indicate your full particulars, the details. And in that form, what we have for the minority leader is what has been captured on the order, the votes and proceedings. So he has put there Osahin. It's not Osahine. It's different pronunciation. It's Osahin. There is no hine. No. The gentleman is from Efutu. That is for him to decide whether is Angloman or not Fante. Fante is a general description of so many tribes in the central and western region. His tribe is there. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if care is not taken, this house, somebody will come and fill a form that his wife called him man love. Then that will be added to his name. Somebody's wife will call him man king. Then that will be his title. Then it becomes something like that. So, Mr. Speaker, we have official titles which are recognized officially. And Mr. Speaker, it is for this very reason that even the word honorable became a subject for ruling in our law court. So, if the honorable minority leader can explain, the Speaker, simply because this is a house, this is an august house. If you are giving warrior titles to honorable members, the Speaker, is that the precedent we should set? If the honorable minority that can explain the meaning of that title, because the literal meaning of Osahiri means a warrior, a war leader. So, is it going to turn this micro minority into a war group? Mr. Speaker, I don't think we should go further with this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would want to seek your guidance on this as part of the general issues that we are discussing on the list and attendance. I observed that, and I'm making this point because words in their format carry some special meanings, sometimes for emphasis. And if you look at page 12, 13, you see some of the names are italicized. Some of the leaders who were invited, their names have been italicized, whilst others are of normal font. So I was seeking guidance whether it was a mistake or there was some special purpose or they were intending to serve with the italics. If the italics or the one, but can you allow me, please? Allow me. The font is different. The font is different. font is different. The font size is different. So I know what I'm talking about. So kindly allow me. Those that have been italicized or fonts with small sizes, whether we can change them, they will all look the same. Or you will get the explanation for the purpose the italics were supposed to serve. So that is the guidance I'm seeking from you, Mr. Speaker. So please, if they are not supposed to carry any special effect, then I would suggest that we keep them with the same font. Consistency is important. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, this is definitely a secretarial mistake. It will be corrected. But let it be known by all of you that it's part of the duty of the Speaker to protect the micro minority. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, is also part of my duty. Honorable members, honorable members, may we have some calm. The minority leader is on his feet. Let's listen to him. Well, they rose up in support of him. So let's listen to him.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with respect, I shall, in response to what you just said about your duty to protect the micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the rules of this House provide for the minority and the majority. Mr. Speaker, we do not have any micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus hereby protests. Mr. Speaker, we protest the description given to us by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this practice of when we are on our feet, the majority will on the mic, it's not acceptable. Mr. Speaker, it's not acceptable. We are Democrats. You put off my mic. Listen to me. Mr. Speaker, we find this unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, we seconded, the minority seconded your proposal and the motion for your election. Mr. Speaker, when the so-called majority was even conspiring against you, we protested. We stopped them from that conspiracy. Mr. Speaker, it was us, the minority of conscience. This minority is the conscience of this house. Today, the so-called majority could not get its members to come to the house. 61 of you are upset. Mr. Speaker, we don't accept the description micro-minority. We are minority. Simplicity. Mr. Speaker, please, kindly, Mr. Speaker, describe us as such. We are the minority. We are not micro-minority. I so submit.
Honorable members, this is not subject to debate. Please, this is not subject to debate. Please.
Sit down.
Please. This is not subject to debate. The minority leader, on behalf of the minority caucus, has objected to my describing their caucus as micro-minority caucus, and that this is a term that is unknown to the rules of the House. He is totally right. Honorable members, I will say that he himself misled me because he himself has used the term micro
Mr. Speaker, you know, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I know you miss your days. You miss your days as a member of Parliament.
Honorable members, the objection is to the fact that it should not be formally so recognized by the records of Parliament. I agree with you. And so, it should not be used by the Speaker, but it can be used by the leaders.
Mr. Speaker, we are getting the impression, Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus is getting the impression that Mr. Speaker may be assisting the majority. Mr. Speaker, because you seem to be doing their debate for them. We are the official minority. There can't be any other description. And it shouldn't be used by anybody on the floor of this house. You cannot even use that term. It's not only Mr. Speaker. You can't use that term micro-minority. From today, nobody should ever use that term in this house. Nobody should use that term in this house.
Honorable members, the minority leader is saying that I should not protect them. Is that what I'm to understand?
Speaker, we are saying that protect the minority. We are not, Mr. Speaker. You see your man. Mr. Speaker, you see what you are doing to us. Mr. Speaker, we protected you. When they were conspiring, we protected you. So protect us. We are the minority. We protected you. In fact, but for us, you wouldn't be the speaker. Yes. It's because of our protection. That is why the president-elect had to issue a statement. Yes. We protected Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
members, please. Let me just hear from you, so that I will not be seen to be denying you your right to be heard. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 123, 2, A and B. Mr. Speaker, the preamble of my, just on a lighter note, just a few weeks ago, just hold on, Mr. Speaker, just a few weeks ago, my good friend was protesting heavily for being referred to as minority leader. But you were not. But today are you? Mr. Speaker, and the order says that, and I read, a member shall not use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words on a member or any other person, or B, impugn improper motives.
Please.
Other person. Mr. Speaker, my colleague suggested that the majority was conspiring against you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have it on record when the minority leader at political functions was describing you in words that can never be used on this floor, and said, Mr. Speaker, that the greatest injustice to Parliament was to elect you as Mr. Speaker. You said that on political platform. Today, a 10-quote minority leader is now pretending he loves you more than the people who actually you belong to. We can tell you this. Mr. Speaker, I live, Mr. Speaker, and I know you've got the tapes and the videos. But what I will say is that for the fact that he described us as conspiring against you, he must actually withdraw that part of the statement now and apologize to us.
And apologize.
And Mr. Speaker, hold on, Mr. Speaker, he described us as the so-called majority. Look at you this way and look at this. Is this a so-called majority? Do you describe this as a so-called majority? This is a proper majority. And this is, Mr. Speaker, the size of this, let me repeat, the size of this looks like my district assembly. The size of this looks like the size of my district assembly. Do you like that one? Mr. Speaker, he must necessarily withdraw. This side did not and will never conspire to do anything against you. If the last person, the last group of people who undermine you, Mr. Speaker, will not be this side. If the other people who do it, we can guarantee you will get our support today, you will get our support tomorrow, because you are doing the right thing. So he must withdraw.
Speaker, I am grateful that you recognize me. Just to share a few words. Speaker, Kwame, so Kwame, are you telling me to sit down? Can you tell me to sit down? A joke. Speaker, you can't tell me to sit down. In this house, the rules that we use. You can't tell me to sit down. Get the attention of the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for recognizing me. First of all, the order my colleague quoted, and if you read further, order 1, 2, 3, if you read further, subclause 3, the inherent condition is stated there. It will lie in the mouth of the Speaker to determine if indeed those words were used. I hope you recognize that. Then again, going beyond that, Speaker, going beyond that, I am 4th term in this House. Would you listen to me? Would you listen? Speaker, would you listen to me? Speaker, 4th term in this House. This is the first time this is the first, and I'm saying this in context. If you pay attention, you get the context in which I'm speaking to. This is the first time President-elect has to issue a statement, more or less whipping you to nominate the president, to nominate speaker for the position of speakership. Why? And that's very revealing. It was because there were things happening at your backyard, and the president-elect picked the due intelligence. That is why he had to come out with that statement. This has never happened. So for the leader to say that all was not well at your back, the evidence is all over. And in fact, it took the minority, it took the support and the consent of the minority for us to elect the speaker. Mr. Speaker, if there is on both sides, Speaker, on both sides, if there is any side that you should be careful, it's the majority. You should be very careful of the majority. They were the people who were planning for you not to be elected. So please, don't miss the point.
Thank you.
Don't miss the point. It took our blessings for the speaker to be elected. So stop boasting. It took our blessings. Speaker, back to the point. So order 1, 2, 3 should be quoted in whole. My good friend Honorable Abuja should quote order 1, 2, 3 in whole. Order 1, 2, 3 subclause 3 is clear, and we don't need to belabor the point. We don't need to mess it up. Speaker, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records. One doesn't need to quote any order of the standing orders to buttress the point that a statement that should be made on the floor, more so from a leader, should be a statement that is anchored on facts, not conjecture. Kids are watching us. The entire globe is watching us. Most importantly, this is the first sitting of the ninth parliament. Now, if you have the second sitting, if you have a leader of the house who would make statements that are absolutely conjecturing, it's scandalous, to say the least. But, Mr. Speaker, this argument is occasioned by the fact that someone wanted to be called a particular name or added a title which is unknown to the rules and proceedings of this house. And I wanted your guidance that if anybody decides that he wants a particular name to be added or title to be added to his name, everybody knows that I don't want to be identified as honorable. I want to be identified as comrade. And Mr. Speaker, the 6th Parliament, I rose here and I said that I didn't want to be addressed as honorable. And then, Right Honorable Speaker told me that the identification of members here was honorable. And I remember you called and advised me and made the same point after sitting, that the title honorable is title that is given to those who are members of parliament or ministers of state at the time when they are actively performing the function. So if someone decides that he wants to be identified as a warrior, maybe perhaps we should have been informed that that warrior title and the actions to support that name was prepared to be unleashed on parliament and the people of this country. But Mr. Speaker, we are still aware that in this house, when we were electing you, they commandeered armed military men into this chamber in violation of the principles of democratic governance. They attacked, Mr. Speaker, they attacked, look, I'll be heard anyway. Mr. Speaker, it was an attack on the sanctity. Look, I will make that point anyway. Mr. Speaker, it was an attack on the sanctity of Parliament. It was an attack on the Constitution of Ghana. This conference, there is a difference between Parliament and Executive. Maybe somebody did. We were not maybe perhaps, Mr. Speaker,
our government
ought to be informed
that no, you should retract that. Sit down. She retract that. She retract that.
Mr. Speaker, maybe perhaps they ought to be informed that Parliament and the legislative arm.
Honorable members, please kindly resume your seats. I think we have tested the waters enough. Today is the first sitting. Today is the first sitting of the first session or even first meeting of the first session of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic. What happened yesterday was the first meeting. So when you look at the standing orders, it says when the House first meet, and in that meeting, the first person to preside over that meeting is the clerk to Parliament. That meeting is not yet properly constituted Parliament. You are members of Parliament elect, and when you graciously elect a speaker, he comes in as a speaker elect until sworn in by a person who, by virtue of that condition, is present on the floor of the House, just for a ceremony, and that is the Chief Justice. Then the person becomes Speaker. And then the Speaker now swears you in. So our standing orders refer to that as when Parliament first meet. Now, if you go through the standing orders, you see that they describe today as the first sitting. So that's what we have. The second point is that during the era of the military regime, at that time, the head of state was General Ignatius Kutu Achampong. He said, as for rumors, he has no problem with rumors. The problem he has is the mongering. The mongering of the rumors. Now, why? Is it one person mongering the rumors? All of you are mongering rumors. And so a decree was passed against rumor mongering. We are not going to do that in democratic Ghana. And so as you monger your rumors, be sure that the Right Honorable Speaker will take them with a pinch of salt. I know that the term I used was not taken kindly by the minority caucus. And so I acknowledge that. And I decided that it will not be used officially. And so the Right Honorable Speaker will not use the term micro-minority at all in reference to the minority caucus. I recall in the first Parliament of the Fourth Republic, the caucus I belonged to at that time was referred to as populous majority. And it was used. Maybe because it was edifying, it was accepted. Today, we will not use a term that is not edifying. So I will not use it. I will not use it. I say I will use it. Now, yes, so
Mr.
I
Speaker.
said that the
Mr. Speaker,
minority caucus
I am only
does
saying-
not. Oh. Honorable members, you don't catch the eye of the speaker by begging the speaker. Please don't beg me. Do the proper thing and you catch my eye. Please. But let me give my ruling. Please. That is what I'm doing. That is why I started by saying the testing of the waters is enough. We have all tested the waters, the majority, the minority, and the speaker. And that is enough. So we leave it here. We have a lot of work to do today. A lot of work to do today. We have had pre-sitting meetings. The minority leader was not present at the pre-sitting meeting. So his rep was the minority chief whip. And we discussed a number of issues which we will convey to the House, because it's the House that is to take the decisions. So there are key decisions we are to take today. Don't let's use the whole day in correcting votes and proceedings. Please, this is the end of the exchanges, and I'll proceed. I'll proceed to let us end the correction of votes and proceedings. Please. Honorable member, I just used a phrase, and that phrase was explicit enough. If you conspired at all, you conspired in favor of me. That I know. You don't just conspire against, you also conspire for. Yes, so the word conspiracy is not all negative. There are positive things about conspiracy. Yes, so please, I did state that clearly, that you did not conspire against me. So, we will proceed. We will proceed to do what is right. Please, in the absence of any other corrections, the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 7th January 2025 are hereby adopted as the true record of the proceedings of that day. Honorable members, let's now take item 6. Item 6. Statements. Honorable members, at this sitting, we are expected to, as a House, appoint and compose some committees. And usually, the process is started by the leaders of the House. The first committee that is to be appointed by the House is the Committee of Selection, which by our standing orders is chaired by the Speaker. I specifically refer to Standing Order 205, Rule 1. It says the Committee of Selection shall comprise the Speaker as chairperson, and not more than. There is, in what you have, some error. It's not 14, it's 17 members of Parliament, and not more than 17 members of Parliament. That was the final decision taken by the House. It's 17. And so, using the usual communication channels, I got in touch with the leaders of the two caucuses, and they made proposals which will form the basis for the House to appoint the members of the committee. We are still talking about majority and minority caucuses because by our rules, we have made provision for a third caucus, and that is the independent caucus. But we decided that to constitute a third force, that is the independent caucus, you needed to have 7 independent members in Parliament. As at now, we have 4. And so the 4 has not met the threshold of 7. My instructions is to the 4 independent members that they have the option to decide which of the caucuses to officially transact business with in the House. They have that option. And that is usually done officially in writing to the Speaker, of Parliament. And I will make it known to the House, and it will be captured by the official records of the House. So as at now, we have only 2 caucuses, the majority and the minority caucuses. And so what I propose is to give the opportunity to the leaders to give an indication as to the composition of the membership of the Committee of Selection. And then I'll proceed to suspend sitting. The committee will meet. We will submit a report to this House, and this House will take the decision as to the membership of the Committee of Selection. After that, the committee will have to immediately convene and discuss and submit to the House for approval the membership of 2 key committees. The Business Committee, because they have, from now, the duty to start scheduling the business of this House after the business has been admitted by the Speaker. And then also, we need to do the same for the Appointments Committee. These are two key, I should say three key committees that we have to set up today before we decide. And I will make a proposal for you for us to take a bit of rest to allow the authorized officials to put in place the proper arrangements on the floor of the House. Where you are sitting today, they are just borrowed seats for today. The next time you come, you see that your constituency and your name will be on a different seat, which is the properly allocated seat for you. And we have to do all this within a very short period of time so that we could now position ourselves properly to transact parliamentary business and also official government business. That is why I'm pleading with you to let us focus on this important business. The rest, the jabs, the jokes, I think will continue as we go along. But this is one family. You will be coming from different mothers, but this is one family. And as the father of the family, I have to treat all of you equally. But you know, as a father, when you see that one child is stronger than the other, definitely you have to always go to the side of the weaker one. That is natural. That is natural. That is natural. And it's not only natural, please kindly read the literature. Read the literature, and it is accepted globally that part of the duties of a speaker is to protect the minority. That is why I accepted. Honorable members, I will be applying the rules rigorously. That is why I accepted his position that the use of the word, which is what he objected to. I accept that one. I accept that one. So please, this is how we do business. We don't fight here. We may lose our tempers, but we are members of the same family. And we should continue that way. Yes, so leadership, can you give us an indication? Is the speaker out of order? Honorable, please, just a minute. Because, you know, the House is such that you have to give people the opportunity to be heard. Yes, Honorable Blackwell.
I'm grateful, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. And Right Honourable Speaker, I would never, ever contemplate you being out of order. I just wanted to seek your guidance under Standing Order 2172. Because of the indication you have given about the crucial committees that have to be set up, the Business Committee and the Appointments Committee. Under our new standing orders, the Appointments Committee has changed, and it now has members from other committees, the relevant subject matter committees. And if I may read with your permission, Standing Order 2172 says that the chairperson and ranking member and two other members of the relevant subject matters standing or select committees shall join the members of the Appointments Committee. So, Mr. Speaker, in that context, I was wondering if we could probably task the committee to probably broaden its scope to look at the other committees as well, because of the indication you gave that they will be focusing on two committees. That's why, because it appears we have a conundrum with the new standing orders.
There is no conundrum. Please, I chair the Standing Orders Committee, and I was there throughout with the lawyers, and we discussed this thing thoroughly. That has been factored into of the standing committee, in all that I don't have any reason to do that. Controversy. So I seek your direction, Mr. Speaker, as to how we'll go about it going forward if we should encounter such typos. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yes, you want to respond to him? Okay.
Speaker, I thank you. I tried to catch your attention earlier because my colleague will bear me out that we are privileged to have sat in a number of meetings that are relevant to the discussion before the House, even before my friend Ablakwa raised same matter. And let me say that maybe it's by providence that our colleagues are also being kept in leadership. Because ever since we adopted the new standing order, we realized that per our numbers, minority then, I think the 8th Parliament, there was a need for us to relate to you. And I might commend you highly how you guided us. Myself and the then minority leader, Honorable Governors, we took it upon ourselves to get staff and concerns sanitized. So back and forth, there were instances that we added a number of membership to the already agreed members of the various committees, just to get the balancing right. Yes. So back and forth, Speaker, you guided us. We came on the floor. This motion was moved and adopted. And so you realize that even the printed standing order, there are a number of mistakes in it that had to be corrected. So if you pick the Hansard, so today at the conclave, I indicated to the acting clerk that ran this thing together with the chief whips, because we were present and we recall exactly what happened. And Hansard will also bear us out. We have to do this and sort this thing out, otherwise we can't constitute the committees. And firstly, Speaker, as you rightly directed, we have to deal with the committee of selection. Now, we have at least agreed with the ratio of the composition of the committees for the 9th Parliament. Myself and the Chief Whip have agreed on the ratio. What is critical is that the selection committee chaired by the Speaker have to be constituted. Once that is constituted, then we look at other critical committees that need to be constituted. For instance, the appointment committee and the business committee. So here we are. The only challenge we have is that we have to deal with the mistakes that have already been recorded. And the standing order has been printed. My senior colleague gradually observed. So together with the acting clerk and the whips, we can sit and address all these concerns and get these 3 critical committees constituted. And then, Ablakwa, you also mentioned about the subject matter committee membership who have to be courted to join the appointment committee. That is why, in the wisdom of the Speaker said that, I'm taking the wind out of your sail, you will grant us a week of break. When we come back, then we will. Then we don't have a problem of who a subject matter committee is that has to be co-opted to the appointment committee. So I think the matters are clear. We have a defined and clarity on how we should approach this matter, and Chief Whip will bear me out. So first thing first, let's deal with the selection committee. Because we directed, we suspend sitting, go and handle and constitute the business committee and the appointment committee, and we get it also approved, and then we can proceed. And then subsequently, we can constitute all the other committees. But essentially, the ratio has been agreed. Everybody knows. The Chief Whip knows. I should mention what I won't mention. You know it. Speak to your Chief Whip. Your Chief Whip will direct you. So I think we are clear, and we can proceed.
Yes. Please, honorable members, we really took time to discuss this in conclave. And then all the issues you are raising were considered. But because as a house, we'll be able to generate a lot of interest of our people in what we do. And so we're going through this process for the first time for people to hear and get to know how we do our business. And that is why I'm allowing you to make inputs. It's very important, not only for our edification and education, but for advocacy purposes. Our people have to go with us and understand what we do. And so we're going to do this because this is the first time we got copies, printed copies of the standing orders of the House. And definitely there are some errors. These are to be corrected through administrative instructions because you have the official records in the Hansard.
The only way an independent member can join a caucus to the speaker. And as things stand now, you don't seem to have that indication. And just a while ago, you made the point about the composition, 183 to 86. Okay, I wanted to drop 4 because they are contentious. But Mr. Speaker, the point I seek to get clarification from you is, what will happen after the indication of the independent members to you as to the caucus they want to be with? Will that change, or would that inform the formula that will be used to compose these committees? Thank you.
I'm sure, yes, please.
I just noticed to respond to that first. Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity for us to do this now. Yes, indeed, the 4 colleagues of ours who are in this House as independent members of Parliament, indeed, communicated to you guide for the records to be clear in Parliament. That they sit with us already, so we shall guide them. We shall guide them as to how to send that communication to you. But at this moment, we are only working with the numbers we have. So I agree with you, Mr. Speaker. These committees we are forming today might change after the official communication to you. But what we are working with right now is approximately three quarters. Yes. So, for instance, Mr. Speaker, we have 17 members for the committee of selection. Mr. Speaker, we are saying that our understanding is that you are part of the 17. If that is the case, then NDC or our caucus would have 11 members. And then, yes, 11 members. That is if you were to add you. If you are not part of it, Mr. Speaker, then we will be 12. But
I'm not part of your caucus.
okay. So Mr. Speaker, I'll give you names of 12 members from our side, and they will give us 5 members. 5 members. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, we are not debating the statistics. We've worked it out already. The only thing I said was that if Mr. Speaker is part of the 17, then we have 11. If it's not, then we have 12. It's as simple as that. So, Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, take it completely out of your mind. Mr. Speaker is not a member of Parliament. Your caucus is made up of members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker is the Speaker. Mr. Speaker is not a Deputy Speaker. There is vast difference. So I cannot be a member of your caucus, even though as a party, I'm a member of your party. But when I come to a performance of my functions here, it is clearly cut out for me, and I know what to do. We agreed that the Speaker is not part of the 17. The 17 is for the members of Parliament. And we agreed, and you submitted your list, and the minority submitted their list. That is the specific names. So we have that already. And that is what we are going by, unless you people have changed your positions. So please, you may continue. You haven't finished. Please, let him conclude.
Just to draw his attention that I think earlier on we were all based on facts, information that was before us. We came out with a certain ratio. However, Speaker, granted that all the independent members are given to your side. Speaker, if you do the arithmetic, our side will come up to some 32%. So the numbers that we use earlier, there's a bit of error in it. Speaker, I will seek your indulgence. If you may indulge us, the two of us, we will have to look at the report. The clerk has generated a report.
Honorable members, this process is step by step. We haven't reached where you are now. I have not received any such communication to me. He has informed us that the communication is to the leaders of the majority caucus. You came to me with a formula and you composed the committee of selection. That is what I'm going by. Until I receive official communication from them individually, not collectively, individually, because they will be held responsible. It will be put on the records. So nobody is going to do it for and on their behalf. They have to communicate individually to the Speaker. And you know, in the case of my second Deputy Speaker, He did that in the 8th Parliament, and it was read to members here. So please, let's follow that. Now we are going to compose committee of selection. Let's do that now.
Mr. Speaker, you're very right. I just cross-checked from the committee of selection we had the last time. 17 excluded you. It's excluded you. So, Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you, I'll go ahead and mention the names of the proposed colleagues that will form this committee. And once that is done, and then you are the chair, we go to the meeting, then we can come back with the appropriate one that colleagues will now approve. Mr. Speaker, with us, we have the Majority Leader, Honorable Atoba Forson, as a member. Myself, Honorable Kwame Abuja, Honorable Comfort Doyo, Honorable Ebenezer Oklete Telabi, Honorable Isaac Asha Odampton, Honorable Emmanuel Kwejo Ajekum, Honorable Clement Abbas Apak, Honorable Shaibu Mahama, Honorable Grace Ayensu Dankwa, Honorable Rachel Ouswa, Honorable Richard Kuri, and then Honorable Jean-Marie Pomade, making it 12 members. Mr. Speaker, those are the names from our side.
Yes, please.
Speaker, on our side, we have these names as proposed. We have the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. We have the Honorable Patricia Appieh, the Deputy Leader. We have Arnaud Dompre. We have Honorable Alhaji Habib Idrisu and Honorable Asante Waten, 5 of us. Yes, 5. I thank you, Speaker.
Yes, please. Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
Honourable Speaker, just to add that we confer with colleagues, as you have said, that when the independent members bring their letters to your attention, we'll work with them to agree on what the new percentage will be, and then we'll work with that, on that number, just to make sure that is noted for the record.
Honorable members, we have that covered under 205 Rule 3. It says the Committee of Selection may review the composition of committees where necessary and report to the House. So that is covered. May I now, with your indulgence, direct that the members so declared be adopted by the House as the membership of the Committee of Selection. Do I have that from members? Consensus. So decided by the House. Honorable members, I now direct that the Committee of Selection should immediately proceed to the conference hall of the Speaker for a meeting on the next item. And with that, I'll proceed to suspend sitting. And, sorry?
Mr. Speaker, may I humbly refer you to Standing Order 67-1. And in particular, 67 deals with the order of business. I realize you've gone through a lot today, but I just want to find out from you. I've seen my colleague from Bolga, Tanga East. He's been seated in the chamber the whole day. Boko has been in the chamber the whole day. A member from Banda. To find out from you, Mr. Speaker, 67-1L. whether you've received any communication from the president, because I can see some itchiness on the members that I mentioned. And you've received some official communication, a green letter from the president's office. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Actually, I have not received any green letter from the office of the president. I have communication from His Excellency the President. That communication is not on a green paper, but I decide, if you read the orders properly, when no green letter, when to communicate such information to the House. That lies in the bosom of the Speaker, and that is permitted by the standing orders. What we're doing is to try to get things in order so that we can now strictly follow what is stated in Standing Order 67-1. So please, I proceed to suspend sitting. When we come back, you can continue with your, or there's no motive here.
Mr. Speaker, I think that the Honorable Patrick Boama is impugning improper motives to you. Mr. Speaker, he's making the assumption that you have the ability to hold letters that are sent to you from the presidency. Mr. Speaker, and I think that you have demonstrated enough credibility and integrity for an old member of this House to suggest that when you have letters from the presidency, you will not share it until you are asked by a member of this House. He must show remorse and apologize to you for such a suggestion. Thank you.
Actually, the last time I heard the word hold was during the revolution. This is the second time I'm hearing it. Please, may we suspend? Yes, I'm here proceeding to suspend in consultation with members 1 hour suspension of the House will be sufficient for us to do our work and to report back to you. Is that accepted? Members, is that accepted? Honorable members, the House is accordingly suspended for 1 hour.